What's up, Riverdalians? Welcome back to the River's Edge. My name is Abby. I'm here with my co-host Haley, and today we have a bit of a different thing that I don't think has ever been done before. I could be wrong about that,
No, I don't think
but
so.
we wanted to talk about the fandom because you can't really talk about Riverdale without the fandom being brought up eventually, and we're pretty much veterans. So I think
Hmm.
we know a thing or two about this fandom and how
Definitely.
it is. And, you know, this is going to be a little different. Usually I have a bit of a thing in mind, written down and everything. And I have a couple things written down here, I'm not going to lie. But this, I feel like I'm just going to speak from the heart because Haley and I, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. And especially lately, I feel, and we feel
Hmm.
that there's been a shift
Yeah.
because for a long time, I mean, the Riverdale fandom for many years now has been really small. And I can remember 2019, it was pretty big, especially that
Yes.
time it was Lily and Cole.
Massive.
It was massive. It was. And
Massive.
there were so many people. It was like, you know, a lot of it honestly kind of just blends in my brain because there was so many people
It
and
does.
most of them were my age, and at that time I was 13. So, there was a lot going on, you know. And I was in the Bughead fandom at the time. It was
Hmm.
crazy. There was so many
Yes.
people there. And so that being said, I can remember when people started to leave. I can remember like COVID happening and
Hmm.
Lily and Cole breaking up, and that caused a major shift in the fandom. And just like everything after that, it was like never the same almost
Yeah.
because they were together in the show, they were together in real life. And then that was such like a pillar of a lot of at least in the spaces I was in. And so, that really had an effect on it. And also, as the show got crazier and crazier as well. And, that didn't really change anything about it for me. But for a lot of people, like once the thing that they loved about the show was over, that really, they didn't have a reason to stay anymore. And so that drove a lot of people away. And so I I watched that happen pretty much. Like I can remember just all these fan pages like changing course, deleting, leaving, I like people that I was friends with in the fandom being like, "Yeah, I don't like it anymore. I'm leaving. I'm done. Like I like this now.
Hmm.
and it was always so wild to me because how could you go from like loving something supposedly and then you just don't like it anymore?
Hmm.
Like I just was never able to wrap my head around that. But, as the fandom, a lot of people left, then some people rejoined or, like joined for the first time. And for a long time, the Riverdale fandom, it was in this like really weird, but like good place, I feel. Like it was people that just really just loved it. It was people that just genuinely enjoyed it,
Yep.
people that they had something that they liked about it and they didn't
Hmm.
care that it was quote unquote it was crazy or
Yeah.
whatever. Like people that just enjoyed it. And that
Hmm.
I feel like for a show that's still going on to have that small of a fan base is crazy. And of course, with Riverdale, it's very divided, but it's very small still. Like it's such a small group of people that can be broken down into even smaller groups.
Mm-hmm.
And that's based on ships, of course. But, we were in this place that was like, it was just people that just loved it. And like we got into fights and shit, but like not with each other. And it was just like we didn't care that people didn't like our show. Like
Mm-hmm.
still don't. And, you know, people had shit to say about it, but like we didn't care. We had more shit to say about it than anybody else did. So, it didn't really matter. And now, and Haley, I know you backed me up on this, but it's like there's been a shift, and we always
Yeah.
knew that someday
We would have
that
to say
we would
we
say
told you
that.
so.
Like we would have our moment, like we told you so. We've been saying the show's good
Mm-hmm.
all this time. And it came a lot sooner than expected and a lot different
Mm-hmm.
than anybody expected.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a difference, and this is gonna be, you know, maybe a bit of a hot take, but I feel like there's a difference between the people that were there
Mm-hmm.
before and the people that came after.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with because I've met people that are like, yeah, I started watching late in the game, and it's like, cool. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
your like whatever. Like you started watching late. That's not the problem. I'm not like shitting on people because oh, you started watching after me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Yeah.
people that started watching it before me. That's not the fucking problem.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. It's just that there's and I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's such a it's so like there's like a disconnect almost, at least in my personal experience. Like, and I just part of what has been so cool about Riverdale is that there's so many things, there's so many characters that you could say like
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and it's never really
Yeah.
become an echo chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's
Yeah.
got their own shit.
Don't
Everybody's
think
got their
it's
own
really
opinion.
possible for it to, just because of all the differing opinions
Yeah, but
and people not afraid to speak their mind.
yeah. And I feel like these days that's almost what it's becoming because I just see
Oh.
the same stuff just just repeated over and over, and it's like
And they're like they think they're having a revelation and it's like, "Oh, we've been new."
yeah. And you know, the people that and I didn't think we'd get to this so early in the pod, but I think and I've said this before, but there's a reason why people that were there before, specifically we'll say season 7, specifically before season 7, there's a reason that most people that were there in the fandom, watching it live every week as it came
Hmm.
out, or just watching it every week as it came out, not even live, there's a reason
Hmm.
that people don't like it. There's a
Exactly.
reason. Like, because
Exactly.
imagine, like, and I'll give it credit. It's fun in its own way. Like, it's like if it was a standalone thing, I'll give it that's fun as a standalone thing. But when you think about how Riverdale was a show that was on for 6 whole seasons and 6 years, and that's their last hurrah,
Yeah.
that they fucking tell you that they came out with something, oh, no need to watch the first six to understand seven. That's 6 years of people's lives watching a show for you to erase everything that people were invested in for 6 seasons and 6 years for that.
Hmm.
But you wouldn't understand that. You wouldn't think about it like that, if you were one of those people that spent all that time invested in it, making theories, watching it live every week, being in the fandom, all that, like you wouldn't think about it like that, would you? And again, I'm not saying that it's a problem that, because of course, it's on fucking Netflix. Like anybody could start watching it at any time. And I'm glad, like enjoy the show by all, like of course, like by just enjoy the show. It's fun. Like we're doing a podcast about it.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, but I just have seen the fandom as of lately become this echo chamber of the same shit being said. Like, oh, season seven is like the best. I love season seven. Season seven is so great. It's so masterpiece. It's so everything. It's so this. It's so that.
You know
Like,
what it is? It's so shit.
it's so shit. It's
It's so
so.
dog shit.
And I said, as I said, as a standalone thing, sure. But when you think about how, like, so many people were so invested in it for so long, for 6 seasons, 6 years, only for a show that you follow and for us so closely to end with them not like getting back to the show that we fell in love with.
Hmm.
Like all that character development, all that time, like wasted basically. Like I would not change anything, of my fandom journey. I would like if I could go back in time, like I would tell myself to start watching it sooner. That's what I
Yeah.
would say. I wouldn't say don't watch it. I wouldn't say any of that. Like I wouldn't change a thing. But so that's not what I mean by that. I mean like all that time, people being invested, they erase all of it only for people now to say that it's genius and a masterpiece?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. But I feel I've been
Hmm.
talking a lot. So what say you, Haley?
What say me? Well, I had written some stuff down like right as we started talking, and I just wanted to say that since we're doing an episode on fandom, I will be a little bit more on the weird kid side of that spectrum. Because fandom culture has always been very interesting to me. Like, think like the YouTuber Strange Aeons, like her Tumblr like video analysis and stuff, or Tumblr video essays. I've always found that kind of stuff so interesting. And Tumblr is like an archive in and of itself in a way that like no social medias are really because of the search function on Tumblr, how effective it really, really, truly is. You can find exactly what you're looking for. You can't do that on Instagram. You can't really do that on TikTok or Twitter. You can do it on Twitter better than you can on TikTok or Instagram, but Tumblr is like an archive in and of itself. And so I have found so much stuff on there. And I just find it so interesting. And there's this one podcast that I listen to called This Day in Fandom History or something. And they do video or like podcasts on about talking about one specific thing that happened in fandom history. And they did an episode on Stranger Things, and I requested them do an episode on Riverdale, like what the fandom was like when the show ended, but also just like a whole retrospective on the show entirely. And I always thought that I just wanted them to talk about it, the fandom, because the fandom was so big 2017, 2018, 2019. And then it went I was on Amino. I was there and I remember I was on Amino because that was the only place like I knew of. I didn't know Tumblr was a thing. I was like very young. And so I watched some YouTuber that I liked say something about Amino and it's the place for fandoms. And so that's where I got involved in fandom. And so that's like holds a very like special place in my heart, Amino. And Riverdale Amino is definitely credited to really, really getting me more into the show as well, and also getting me into Archie because I changed my profile to Archie on there because everybody would always like change their profile to a certain character. And so I changed my profile to Archie on there one time, and I just like realized I was like, as I did it, I was like, oh wow, I really like him. And and then I fell out of it for a while. And I said, oh, in 2020, the fandom go, yeah, so did I. I didn't think about it for a couple of years until 2022. And then I randomly thought about it again. Like I completely forgot that it was a thing. I didn't forget it was a thing, but I was not actively engaging or actively watching, which is something that I hate to admit. Truly, truly, I do hate to admit. Um, like I hate to admit that I dropped out of it, that I quit watching it, but I watched season 1, season 2, season 3. And then it was like when season 4 was starting to air that I dropped out of it because I didn't have cable, so I had to watch on the CW app the next day. And I think I was getting sick of doing that. And it was like the huge break between COVID, and I just got more interested in like musicals at that time. I got really, really interested in musicals and like just all the fandoms for musicals. And also that was during a time like, oh, the Heathers episode came out. Well, I loved Heathers. So of course I was gonna be like, what the frick? This is such a disgrace because all my friends in the Heathers fandom were like, oh my God, this is such a disgrace. And I was like, I used to like that show. But like even just like the fandom history, like there was this one Tumblr blog I found from 2017, and they would always post about Archie, and I honestly like took some of their headcanons and like kept them as my own because they had such nice ideas. And on Tumblr specifically, there's this one, I don't know what their name is now on Tumblr, but I can just go on their page and search like Archie Andrews, and they have a bunch of stuff on there from 2017, which is really nice. Also, shout out to at Archieism on um Tumblr because I stole my username everywhere from you. Um, so I took the username Archieism. It's somebody's Tumblr handle that I stole and started using elsewhere. There's also at Wallbeat Journal. Shout out to Wallbeat Journal on Tumblr. And also shout out to who was I going to shout out on Tumblr? There was somebody I was going to shout out. There's somebody else I was going to shout out, and I forgot. Oh, yes. Shout out to those two Parentdale people. You know who you are if you're listening to it. It's Jughead Jones on AO3. Their thing is Jughead Jones on AO3. And both of them have like Fred and FP profile pictures. Like it's like the same picture. I don't know, but the the shout out to them because they have really, really good Parentdale stuff. And I just find it so interesting, just the way that they work and like the way that their brains work. And I also AMVs. Shout out to Riverdale AMVs. And shout out to AO3. Shout out to Tumblr. Shout out to Jarchi Week. Shout out to AO3 again. Shout out to Tumblr in 2022. Um, yeah.
And Smile, Vic,
Yes, shout out to
FF
Vic
Archie.
and Smile. Yeah. Yep. And and you were tapping on people just like leaving the fandom and being like, "Oh, I don't like this anymore. I don't like this anymore." And I've always been so amazed at how people can just do that, like just turn it off like at will. Like I just don't understand how you could be like, I don't like this anymore. I'm gonna leave the fandom, like at will. Like, and they're like, I'm gonna leave the, and they feel like no remorse or anything. Not necessarily remorse, but they feel no like, oh, like, do I actually like this thing?
Nostalgia, like
Yeah, like they feel no, they're just like, what should I like next? It reminds me of when I was in middle school, and I think I sent somebody a text and I said, who should I have a crush on? Because I was, and it was like I listed two boys' names and I asked my friends, who should I have a crush on? Because
that's funny.
I thought that everybody was like just doing it at will and just choosing somebody to have a crush on. Like I didn't think people actually had crushes on people because I had never before. Yeah,
That's so funny.
it is
Yeah,
funny.
I won't even bring up my middle school crush stories. It's crazy. But speaking of middle school, um a lot of people really like to say, "Oh, well, the Riverdale fandom is crazy." And to that I say you're right. But there's and I this really goes for every fandom, but I my expertise is Riverdale. And there's crazy in every fandom. There's crazy everywhere. Like, but there's
Mm-hmm.
different kinds of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's crazy crazy, and then there's excusable crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, the Riverdale fandom is so crazy. The Bughead fandom is so crazy."
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are 12,
Yeah.
especially back in 2019, 2020. You can't lump a Cole Sprouse or Lily Reinhardt obsessed 13-year-old girl with a 45-year-old woman.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. I mean, they're both crazy, but one of those people is, in middle school or a freshman in high school, and one of those people has two children and a full-time job and a husband.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that that's the same. Like, and Riverdale has a lot of that, um, a lot of older women who are just, oh my,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just can't even tell you how many times and I'll never forget it. I was 13 years old, and this woman on Twitter who shipped phallus because holy shit, the
Because of course
phalluses
she
were
did.
so crazy. They were the ones that were like, and they were all old. They were all older. Like, and I was 13, and I was I was actually on the same laptop that I am now
Oh.
as recording this. And I was on Twitter in school. Don't do that if you're in school. And she's arguing with me, and she's telling me that I know nothing about teen dramas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I am the target audience. You were the target audience maybe 30 years ago,
Yeah.
but she's like, you don't know anything about Riverdale. And it was over phallus. Like, I don't know anything about Riverdale
Over
because I don't
phallus is
ship
crazy.
phallus. And then she was like, "Oh, nobody gives a shit about those kids. Like, we want to see phallus." I was like, "Those kids are the whole point of the show. If you think that
Mm-hmm.
the teenagers watching this care about phallus over Bughead, Varchi, Shoni, even Barchi, any other ship, even Veggie, you're wrong. You're
Mm-hmm.
dead wrong. Like, if you think that anybody that like it's such a rare phenomenon that someone under the age of 25 will care more about phallus than they do about any of the teen ships. Like, it's just a fact. But, you know,
Phallus.
a lot of people tell me, they're like, oh, well, you know, you say the Barchi fandom is crazy, but the Bugheads are crazier. It's like, I would, like, I'm not saying that the Bugheads aren't crazy, but the Bugheads that you're referring to are 13-year-old girls on Instagram and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
The Barchies I'm referring to, or the phalluses, or even some of the bugheads that I'm referring to, are grown women. You cannot compare a 13-year-old girl to a 40-something-year-old woman because at that age, even at 21, you should know better. So I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get all mad and attack a child for getting crazy about a show because fork found in kitchen. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's more than likely it's their first fandom. It's their first like time doing something like that. Like, hell, I got into so many Twitter arguments when I was 13. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's 13-year-olds fighting 13-year-olds, that's one thing. A 45-year-old woman coming at a 13-year-old girl or a 13-year-old boy, 13-year-old whatever, period. Like, I'm sorry. You're like I don't care if the 13-year-old was like, I hate this ship. I hate it. It's stupid and it's dumb and I hate all the fans. Move on. You're a grown-ass woman. Move on. I don't care.
For real.
But nowadays, I haven't really seen many people, and it's so weird. The people that like Riverdale now, like a lot of them, like me and you, we've grown up with it. But a
Hmm.
lot of the people that are getting into it for the first time now are like in their 20s.
I know.
Meanwhile, back in the day, like when Riverdale was in its heyday, it was all like, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, like,
Yeah.
or
Oldest was
or
probably
the
like
45-year-old women.
oldest was probably like 17 in like that kind of
Yeah.
place.
And it's so weird the shift from 14-year-olds and 45-year-olds to 20 something year
Yeah.
olds that love
Ooh,
season
wait. I
7.
have something for you to talk about. I want you to talk
Oh,
about.
okay.
And you could cut this out if you don't want to talk about it. The Archie thing that you saw, the Archie musical that you saw, would you care to touch on that? I feel like that is a prime example of what the fandom is doing today. Well, like
Oh
it's
yeah.
been doing it the whole time, but very quietly. Like on Tumblr, like I've seen it all the
Yeah.
time. Like, oh, the narrative,
Yeah. Oh, this is
the
oof.
narrative.
Okay, I gotta sit back for this one.
Please,
Okay.
please just go through your day and tell us what you saw, how you felt. Tell us all about
Oof.
it. Tell us what they did that you liked, what they did that you didn't like. Let's hear about it. They also
Okay.
have a cast album on Spotify. We can link it if
I
we
don't
do
want to do
Discord
that.
later.
I'm not gonna mention any names. I'm not gonna mention anything that can be tied to anyone or anything. And I'm not, and listen, I love Broadway theater, musicals, you know, I have a lot of respect for that. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not gonna, not that I even know any names, but I'm not gonna like
I
sit
just,
here.
it's so
I'm not,
good. It's so good.
I'm not gonna like shit on anybody
Oh.
or anything, because, I'm not like as big of a theater kid as Haley, but I love Broadway. I go see shows all the time. Big, theater lover, appreciator. Um, so I have a lot of respect for anybody that can get up on a stage and perform, especially multiple times a week, like or anybody that can write, you know, their own musical, their own songs, lyrics, whatever, to put that amount of effort into a project. I think it's amazing. That being said, it was a really, really, it was a really interesting time. I went to see a show, a Riverdale musical, and you know, my biggest takeaway from the experience is that I felt like it kind of, especially because they gave a handout that was like, um, they gave a handout that was asking the audience who they ship, and the options were really limited. The options were Shoni, Barchi, and Veggie. And
That's so funny because can't you literally have all three?
the options were really limited, and I felt like, you know, you don't have to ship what I ship or what Haley ships or what anybody else does. You don't have to like them. You don't have to like Bughead. You don't have to like Varchi. You don't have to like Veggie. You don't have to like Barchi. You don't have to like it. But I think that part of being a Riverdale fan and someone that, because everybody likes to say this, oh, I understand Riverdale. I'm a Riverdale. I am an understander, and I
Mm-hmm.
know. and I know everything, and I know this, and I know that. I think part of being a true Riverdale understander is that you have to know that even if you don't ship something, you can't dismiss it. Because dismissing Barchi, dismissing any ship doesn't make your ship any more.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it any more canon, doesn't make it any more shippable, doesn't make it any more desirable because
Mm-hmm.
I I don't ship Betty and Archie, but I can't dismiss them as a ship.
Mm-hmm.
I can't act like it didn't happen in order to uplift something that I do enjoy. I can't sit here and tell you, "Oh no, they were nothing."
Mm-hmm.
I could sit here and I could tell you, "I don't like it," but I can't sit here and tell you, "Oh, that was nothing. It barely
Mm-hmm.
even happened." I can't tell you that it didn't.
Tell me about the show. Tell me about the show.
Well, you know, I could tell it was written from the perspective of somebody whose opinions were very differing from mine. And, you know, like I said, I have a lot of respect for anybody that could get up on stage, anybody that could create something and put their art
Mm-hmm.
into the world. And, I have a lot of respect for anybody that could do that. And, I'm not gonna broadcast something being like, oh yeah, it was shit and I didn't like it and it was stupid and they did bad and no one could sing. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like, you know, it was I wish that I was in the presence of more people that actually did like the show because I was very excited. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see an Archie musical. It's gonna be great. Like there's gonna be Riverdale fans there. It's gonna be awesome. Like I had my Riverdale shirt on or one of my Riverdale shirts on. I made my mom wear one. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the crowd, at least everybody that I saw there, everybody that I talked to, had no idea anything about Riverdale. They were like, "Yeah, I know who plays so and so." So, like, yeah, Tony's my friend or Betty's my cousin. Like, okay. Like, it was just such a weird experience for me personally, I guess. But I don't know. It's just y I think also that's kind of the beauty of Archie is that you could tell as many stories as you want in that universe. And, you know, those characters are so, like, you could put them in any situation and it'll be fine. Like, you could put them in any type of anything and it could still be an Archie story. It could still be fun in its own way. And it won't be
Mm-hmm.
like, it, it won't be crazily out of character. And, I think that, that being said, when you watch something or you read something of Archie, and I don't mean just Archie Andrews, I mean all of them. When you read something, like you can know, like, oh, this is a Archie story. Like, there's things that can change within their world, but certain things will always stay the same because at their core, those characters are so solidified. They're so solidified. They are. And which is why it's so cool to see all the different adaptations. It's so cool to see all the different things that can be written about them because there's certain things that will never change regardless of what you read from any iteration, any adaptation, anything of Archie. So, that being said, when you see something and the characters are almost a shell of themselves, it's very, it just makes you think. It's like there's certain things that can never change about those characters. And so when they're changed, they're not those characters anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. There's things you can change, and then there's things that you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So when you change those things, it's just weird. Like, and like I said, you don't have to ship certain ships. Like, you could ship everything or you could ship nothing. You could do anything in between, but you cannot dismiss those canon ships. You just can't do it. And, you know, I wish more people really understood that, basically. That's that's what I have to say about the Archie musical. Good for them.
So good.
Um,
It was so good. So beautiful.
mm, I,
So
you know,
beautiful.
I'll take Archie the musical from season 7, even though I don't enjoy it. Season 7, I like that
Beautiful.
episode. But
Same.
next up, I just wanted to bring up also the difference in environments on different apps
Oh yeah, that's good.
because, and this is actually a suggestion, so I want
Hmm.
to give a proper credit where credit's due. That wasn't my idea to talk about this, so I just wanted to give a shout out. I don't remember who it was, but thank you if that was you.
Was it
So
Galabarchi?
no, but shout out to her. We love her. She's
Hmm.
just so kind. She's a great soul. I'm not gonna tell her again. This is the second time we've name dropped her. I'm not gonna tell her. Let's let it be a surprise.
Hmm.
But Twitter people, Instagram
Guava
people, Tumblr people, and TikTok people.
Tumblr people are my kind of
They
people most of the time.
they are all so very, very different. And Instagram is a weird place nowadays. I feel like, okay, I feel
Wait,
like
hold on a second. You know what, Abby? I feel
what?
like the differences between the platforms are so much clearer because it's such a small community, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's such a small thing and it's also so spread out amongst there, it's so glaringly obvious because of that. Because like everybody is weird and like let's say another fandom that we know I'm talking about. Everybody is
Stranger
weird there.
Things.
Yeah, no matter
The
what.
strangest thing is them.
That's so true. And they're gonna buy merch. I
Eddie
bought
Munson.
I bought merch, but everybody in
That's
that
what we
fandom is
call
weird.
him. Bleh.
Everybody in that fandom is weird no matter what. So, but the
But
fandom
yeah,
is so big, the differences you can't really tell. But with Riverdale, you can tell the
with
differences
Riverdale, you
really big.
can really
Riverdale is
tell.
so special because of the way it's divided by ship. Like Stranger Things, everybody likes Stranger Things, you know, and there are the steady people. There are the like Byler people, you know, and they are divided. But at the end of the day, they all like Stranger Things. But with Riverdale, it's like, are you a Barchi or are you a Varchi? And if, or are you a Bughead or a Barchi or whatever the argument or Jabbatha, you know? And they're
Oh
literally
God, we haven't even
divided.
mentioned them.
Oh my God, yeah.
They're that irrelevant. I'm sorry. We
They're
haven't
literally
even, that wasn't even on like the table.
no, that was
Jesus.
not even a thing we even thought about talking about. But since they're so divided in that way, it also makes the platforms more divided. But
It
go on.
does. You're
Go
right
on.
about the Phantoms. Like Riverdale being so small, it's easier to tell the difference between people on different platforms.
Hmm.
Like someone said this to me once that Instagram is where people go when they're too scared of Twitter,
Oh,
which
that's funny.
basically means that the assholes on Twitter drive the nice people away so that they go to Instagram.
Hmm.
There's so many layers. There's so many layers to it. We could do
Hmm.
this for like 3 hours sitting here doing this. But
Hmm.
um anyway, Instagram is where the nice people go. or
Mhm.
the people that get driven away by Twitter, because Twitter is where it really gets it's not so bad these days with like the fighting, which I'm so glad about. Like I think the last time I really got into like a ship war on Twitter was probably like I don't know, months ago. I can't even really remember when it was. And it was so stupid. I was just like, yeah, it's 2025. We're not doing this. Like I promise you KJ Appa does not give a shit about the ships in Riverdale. I also that's another thing. I love when people pretend that the actors care about
Mhm.
ship wars because they don't. Because they don't. You know, you think that that they are like thinking about it the way that we are because they're not. Like I promise you KJ Appa, grown ass man,
Mhm.
doesn't is not thinking about, oh well, Barchi and Varchi. The difference. He's not thinking about it. Not thinking about it. He's not doing
No.
that. He don't care. He doesn't
Mhm.
care. I'm sure if I went up to him at the next con and be like, oh my God, KJ, do you like Varchi? He'd be like, yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm sure if you went up to KJ and was like, KJ, do you like Barchi? He'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care, bro. He doesn't care. Can't go by the
Yeah.
actors for that shit, dude.
No.
Nobody cares as much as the fans, like about that
Mhm.
kind of thing. But more on the platforms, Twitter.
Mhm.
I've been around the block with Twitter, and I think it's different these days. It's definitely different these days with the smaller
Mhm.
fandom. And also, and this brings me to my next thing. This is gonna sound a little different. Is we haven't touched on this before, but
Mhm.
I think one of the differences or why people aren't getting into fights as much these days
Mhm.
is because the fights were always about Barchi versus Bughead, Varchi versus I can't talk. Varchi versus Barchi, Bughead versus this versus that. And it was always like conflicting, like you couldn't have one or the other. And also
Mhm.
because the show was still going on. But
Mhm.
nowadays, people don't give a shit about any of that, dude. They ship Veronica. Like,
Mhm.
it was always, people always were saying, like, talking about that ship and that. But it's the fandom for that, or the people that are talking about that, is more than ever before. And it's more common to find
Mhm.
somebody that prefers that ship. It's so it's so weird to me. Like not that people ship it, but the fact that there like is new people coming in that Bughead, Barchi, Varchi, it's not even on their radar.
Mhm.
It's so like, listen, you do you. You ship what you want to ship. I don't care. But it's so weird to me that 6 seasons in 6 years of people arguing and arguing. Barchi this, Varchi that, Bughead this, that, the next, Jabitha, whatever. And now nobody cares about any of that.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Like,
know. So
it's
funny.
so, it's so, so different. It's like, how many times did all of us, you can't, okay, if you're in the Riverdale fandom, do not kid yourself. You've gotten into at least one ship war. If you haven't, you're like, I don't know, an anomaly.
Mhm.
Like, you have gotten into at least one little argument if you were involved in the
Yeah.
fandom. And now nobody's doing that because nobody likes any of those ships
No.
except the people that were there.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
Why? I
I
don't know.
don't know. It's so like because I can't count on my own two hands how many times. I've gotten into ship wars with all these different people, these 13-year-olds, 45-year-olds, fucking 30-year-olds, whatever, whatever. Gotten
Mhm.
into shit with many different people, many different platforms, and now nobody, nobody
Nobody,
cares.
nobody gaff.
Nobody cares about any of those ships. Why?
Phallus. You never hear people talking
Alice.
about phallus.
Ne Not one not one new person that has entered the fandom since the show ended
Talking
has
about
opened their
phallus.
mouth about Phallus. There's been no new Phallus people. Why?
I don't
Why?
know.
Where's all the new people that like Veggie, the new people that like Jabitha, and that's their thing, and they're gonna
Right.
go to bat for Jabitha. All these new people are like season 7, Veronica.
Hmm.
My problem
Right.
isn't even that they ship that. It's the fact that we all went through 6 years of 6 seasons of fucking arguing all the time, only for nobody nowadays to give a shit. It's so like I don't know, and I keep repeating myself. I know that, but I just can't. I just can't believe it. I mean, like, and also I feel that, and this goes back to what I was saying before about Riverdale characters and Archie comics characters being so solidified, and
Hmm.
you can change the situation that they're in, but you cannot change things about them
Hmm.
because that's who they are. And that's been written 1,000 times in 1,000 different comic books and 1,000 different stories. All this you could change. You could put them in Jurassic Park. You could put them in The Walking Dead. You could put them with ABBA. You could put them in Glee. You could put them in whatever. You could put them in anything, anywhere, but you can't change the core characters.
Hmm.
You can't do it. You can't do it. You could make
Hmm.
Jughead a werewolf, but I'll be damned if you take that fucking hat off. Like, you could do anything. You could, anything you want, any situation, can't change the core of the characters. Which brings me to my next point. I'm not sure if I could say this.
I hate it.
Um, I think that the perceptions of the characters really also varies depending on one, your side of the fandom, and two, the platform.
Hmm.
And some of the stuff that I've seen said, specifically on Twitter, because people on Instagram don't do this. People on Instagram are like, oh, I like Betty, and I like Lily Reinhart,
Yeah.
and she's cool. And
Yeah.
people on Twitter are like, well, people
Well.
on Twitter are like, can I
Hmm.
say this? Um,
Yeah.
People on Twitter are like, I think that that Betty and Hal had an incestuous relationship. Yeah, like that's the
Oh,
difference.
oh,
Um,
oh, and
people,
Jughead and Jellybean, don't
yeah,
forget.
people on
I was always
Instagram,
fucking mortified that they were gonna say Archie and Fred or something had
yeah,
like
people on Instagram are like, "Oh, I like Archie. He's the Red Paladin, and he's awesome, and I love
I know my
KJ."
coworker is like, I love
Yeah,
Archie. He's my man crush. He's the Red Paladin. Like,
yeah, and like people on Instagram,
shout out to Aiden, my coworker, if he's listening to this.
yeah, the people
You're
on
the goat.
TikTok,
You're my goat.
yeah, people on TikTok like, "Oh, I love FP. He's such a badass, and I love Skeet, and his character development was so great,
Mhm.
and he's the sheriff for Riverdale, whatever." And people on Twitter are like, "Well, he abused Jughead sexually,"
I know.
and it's like, what? it's like a complete like 180 because you go on other platforms, with the exception of Tumblr, because Tumblr, we don't even have to talk about Tumblr because I think if you have been in any fandom space, you know how it is over there. Same with like
Hmm.
Reddit. I don't consider
Reddit.
Reddit like people have said to me, "Oh, well, the bug heads on Reddit are so toxic." They're not on my radar. They're not on anybody's radar. Like
The
I
bugheads on Reddit is a crazy
like
sentence, and I never thought I'd
and then
hear that.
somebody like said to me like r/Barchi. I'm like, you fucking asking
What?
for it going on r/Barchi. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like like that's I guarantee you nobody that's in the fandom that at least that anybody that we know, nobody's going on Reddit for Riverdale
For
fandom.
r slash Barchi.
Like yeah, oh my God, r/Barchi. Nobody's that doesn't count.
No,
That
it
doesn't
doesn't
count.
count.
And the last thing that I wanted to touch on about this is that the actors also have very different fandoms
Hmm.
because I have been in the Cole Sprouse side of the fandom. I've been in the KJ one, and I was in the Cole side, so that was with Lily when he was with Lily. That was like, the same thing. And I don't know what it is, but like some of them are just a different breed. Like some Cole fans are crazy, some Lily fans are crazy. I feel like the people that have like the chillest or like the person that has the chillest fan base is definitely KJ.
Hmm.
It's just like a handful of people that are just like, I really like KJ Appa. Like it's like
Yeah.
for a long time it was me and Laura. Shout out to Laura.
Yeah.
She hasn't
Def.
gotten a shout out yet. Shout out to Laura. She's a real one. We love her. We love you, Laura.
Hmm.
And it was like a handful of other people that just really like KJ Appa, and then you would go into like the other people's fandoms, and it's just like
Hmm.
hell has opened up to swallow you whole. There's a secret third option here. There's the people that still ship Cole and Lily, and for I don't know if they still think this, but they thought that um Cole's current girlfriend was like an actress that was hired so that Cole and Lily could date in secret.
Hmm. That's so funny.
Huh, again, huh? What? What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
What?
But I don't know. It's so and then there's like the people that just that like that like Casey Cott and Drew and there's like the Lachlan Monroe people that are like two people. The Skeet people, but that doubles with Scream. With Scream. Um and it's like I don't know. It's just I think that's what's interesting about Riverdale is that there's so many people and so many characters
Hmm.
that it breaks down not only by ships, but you can break it down even further and break it down into fandoms about the actors. And
Yeah.
it's like if you're on the Shoni and Vanessa side of the fandom, you probably won't be interacting with like I don't know. Well, Shoney's different because that's a bad example. But like if you're like a um fucking Barchi Lily fan, you're probably not going to be interacting with Jabitha
Yeah.
like
Or
Cole
and you're
Sprouse
not going to be
person.
interacting with the narrative either.
Oh, oh Jesus, that's another thing. The people that are so obsessed with oh my gosh. I just think that it's
The narrative.
sometimes this might sound funny, but sometimes it's just a thing and we give it too much credit. Like they do stuff out of pure like necessity of it just like being something that needs to further the plot along, and people are like, oh, like, oh my God, like season 7 is so great. Oh my God, and the polycule. It's like, shut up.
And
They
and
did that
the
as the
narrative.
fucking coward's way out, and everybody likes to pretend, oh, it's so genius, and they planned it out so nicely.
No,
They did
they did
not, bitch.
not.
They did not. I guarantee you right now,
Boo.
they were like, oh, what could we do that would piss the least amount of people off? And they just like were like, oh, that that would be it. That would be it. Because we could just do something that would be like, oh, the ships will pick, somebody to be endgame. And they're like, well, huh. Well, we've already made everybody mad by sending them back to the 50s forever. Um,
Okay, but here's the thing. If Barchi was like irrefutably endgame, you wouldn't argue that it was or wasn't, if you know what I mean. Like if they had just picked, you wouldn't be arguing about something being endgame. Like you wouldn't be like, if Barchi like got married in the end, you wouldn't be like, no, Barchi was actually endgame. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so they could have just picked, because it's not going to change that the people like the ship before, and it's also not going to change what has happened up to that either. If they
yeah.
weren't
I
such
mean,
cowards, they could have made Jughead and Archie kiss.
if they weren't, I mean, you could say if they were, if they weren't, if they did this, if they did that. But, one thing I'll give them about that ending, even though I don't like it, is that, you know, you can't say that anybody's wrong and you can't say that anybody's right. So, was it a good ending? That's another thing that you could say, well, my opinion is different than yours, but I don't know. Was it good? Was season 7 finale, series finale, was it a good series finale? I don't know.
I don't
We'll
know.
let the viewers decide or the listeners decide. Um, was season 7 finale good or bad? Would you have done it different? My answer, fuck yes. I would have done it
Yeah.
so different. I would have made them go back to the real time and not stay in the 50s because that
No.
was fucking stupid. That
That
was
was so
stupid.
stupid. Because it was supposed to be like a couple of episode thing.
Ah,
And we
God.
genuinely believed, and people were like, "Oh, they're gonna go back to the real times in this episode," and then
Oh yeah.
everybody was
That
wrong
was fun.
every
That
time.
was fun. It's like, oh yeah, like this will be the last episode of the 50s. Wrong.
Uh,
Everybody was
uh.
guessing, but my lord. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, especially if you made it this far. And my question for all of you people is season 7 series finale, good or bad?
Was
Do
it
we
good?
like it? Do we not like it? I don't know. We'll let you guys be the judge of that. I mean, you know how we feel about it now. You know how we feel about a lot of things now. I think this is really a very opinionated episode here. But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.